Hello everyone, my name is John, and today I'm going to walk you through some basic animation in Maya, first using objects and then using basic rigging and animation of that rig in Maya. Before we get started, I'm going to introduce you to the goals in this tutorial. First goal in this tutorial is to show you how to animate a specific object or objects. Then we're going to cover parenting of objects and other objects and how they can be used to animate one another. Next we're going to be learning how to create a rigging an object, and how that object behaves depending on the rig setup. We're also going to be learning how to do parenting of an object to a skeleton, and how we can get it to move more mechanically instead of organically. So before we get started, I need to make sure that we are in our proper shelf tab and menu set. Our menu set is the drop-down tab at the top left-hand corner of Maya under File, Edit, and Modify. Make sure that you are in your animation, and you'll see that our top menus have changed to help us. You also need to make sure that by default you're in your Generals tab. Go 2 shelves over to your Polygons tab. You see that we have 8 basic shapes we can work off when we're in our Polygons tab. What you're going to do is you're going to just simply select any one you want, and you can drag it out and form it any way onto the scene that you wish. Or if you don't want to do this, you can go to Create, Polygon Primitives, and let's just say Torus. Okay. But it's much simpler to use your shelf tab, personally. Now, what we're going to do here is we have a basic object. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this object just by dragging over it, or you can just simply select it by clicking on it, and we're going to hit 5. You see this brings us to our material shade view. Now, animating an object in Maya is very simple. Like most programs, it does a tweening, where if you set one frame and you set on another frame, it's going to calculate what automatically happens in the frames between the start and end frame. So what I'm going to do is we have basic 24 frames here. You see that we already set them one, and we already have the object selected. Go ahead and hit S on your keyboard, and you see that this will set a key. What you're going to do next is you're going to drag the time slider to, let's just say, 14. And then I'm just going to take the rotation tool, and I'm just going to kind of rotate this, and I'm going to hit S again. Now if we were to play this back, you see that we just animated the object. And then we're going to animate it again. We're just going to bring it kind of back to its original position and put it back to a different area, different angle, and hit S again. And we're going to let the animation play. So here we have a basic animation of an object, and this is that any place that an object can go, if an object is keyable and it can be moved in the space that is you're seeing, it is animatable. It is keyable, excuse me. That means that if it is in this position, position A, and I key it in that specific position, and then it moves to a different location, and it sets a key there, I can move it to another location and set it there. So we have point A, point B, and point C. Point A, point B, point C. So this is how we can use objects to animate, or to animate objects. Another very popular one is a bouncing ball. I'm not going to get into the bouncing ball because that is a little more time-consuming. What we're going to do next is we're going to learn about parenting objects to each other, and this can be used in basic animation of objects as well. So you can move one object and it affects another. To give an example, we're going to create a sphere. We don't want to take up the entire grid. What we're going to do is Control D and duplicate that. What you're going to do is select Sphere 1, and then Shift select Sphere 2, and you're going to hit P on your keyboard. You notice that we come and select the first one that we had. What you're going to do is select the second one, and you see that we highlight both objects. Now, Sphere 1 doesn't have a locator on it. It does not have an origin. Sphere 2, however, does. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to rotate, and you see that if we try to manipulate the object, it is parented to the child object, and the child object is being influenced by the parent object, thus child, parent, etc. And we can do the same thing here. We can hit S, keyframe, and animate it, and just move it around. And we can move these as well. The other great thing about this is that this object is still keyable. It's still able to be animated. So let's just say we're going to do this, and I might want to bring it out here around the 17th frame. Then I might want to bring it in, and put it around here. So you see that we can animate both objects. The child object is still very much keyable. It can still be influenced by the user, and it is not. It's still its own object. It's not. It does not become one object when you let's say you combine two objects into one. This isn't modeling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this, and now we can get into kind of the rig-based animation, kind of going for an organic feel at first. And this is kind of, I'd say it's more fun. What we're going to do is we're going to go to New Scene and Don't Save. What you're going to do is you're going to go into your Polygon Shelf tab and click on your Polygon Cube. And we're going to pull this out and stretch it pretty far. Increase its width. And we're going to go to this little icon here. Now this icon should be self-explanatory. It's a cube being turned into a sphere. This means that we're smoothing the object. So go ahead and click this 3 times, and you see that we've just smoothed the cylinder, or cube, whatever it was. You see that we've smoothed it. What we're going to do next is we're going to hit space on our keyboard, and you see that we get 4 perspectives up here. We have a top, front, side, and perspective. Now, based on the way I placed the object, will determine which side will be best for us to rig in. If I move this object down just a little bit, I'm going to move it in the side. This is technically a side view, but it's the front of the object because this is the way that the perspective is set up. So we're going to click on the front view. In any other manner, it would probably be the side view. We're going to kind of zoom out here, and it's already pretty well positioned. You don't need to worry about positioning your objects in the grid. The grid is only there to help you. What we're going to do is go to Skeleton, Joint Tool, and start from the far right-hand corner of the mesh, and kind of put to about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th little line here. Then you're going to go to the, let's see, 2 over from the center of the object, and then the last one you want to put at the very end of the model. And we're going to hit Enter. And we're going to hit space again and then go back into our perspective view. Now it's already kind of aligned because the object was pre-aligned, and this is where the grid can come in handy if you want to use it. What we're going to do is we're going to select the mesh first and then select the root skeleton. The root skeleton is where you started from. In this case I started from the far right, so instead of selecting from the far left, I'm going to select the far right one. Now we selected the mesh and selected the skeleton first, and we're going to go to Skin, and in Bind Skin we're going to hit Smooth Bind, but don't hit Smooth Bind just yet. Go to the option box and make sure that your max influence is at 30 and your drop off rate is at 10, and then we're going to hit Bind Skin. If I were to select the first joint here and try to rotate it, you see that it's manipulating the mesh in the area that it affects. If I were to undo that, and then let's say I selected this bone here, the skeleton, if I moved it up, we're moving the entire, we're moving both bones because this bone is parented to this one. This is a child bone, which means it can move on its own, but like we did earlier with the sphere, it can be manipulated at the same time that this one is. And how we can overcome this is pretty simple. We're going to select the child first and then the parent.